I'm going to say this and I don't give a who cries in the comments. It's about to get real. I'm done apologizing for being white. Every day it's check your white privilege. I didn't write Jim Crow. People who never picked cotton want a check from people who never owned a plantation. I was born in the 1980s. I'm not guilty. I'm not sorry. I never was.
Nobody's asking you to apologize. Society's just asking you to acknowledge and behave accordingly, and that shouldn't be difficult, and it certainly shouldn't make you this angry. We're asking you to acknowledge that our society has been built on the back of those who were exploited just because of the color of their skin. Acknowledge that America still very much operates on the principle that rights and opportunities vary depending on that color of your skin. Acknowledge that whether you want it or not, whether you're looking for it or not, white privilege exists. And white privilege isn't about you demanding to be treated better, so calm down. White privilege is about Black Americans being treated differently. Because whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, whether you celebrate it or not, the truth is that Black Americans are still receiving prison sentences that are 20% longer than white people for the exact same crime. And Black Americans are still less likely to be approved for a mortgage than white Americans with the exact same financial profile. And right here in the United States, Black students are more likely to be suspended or expelled than white students who commit the exact same violations. This is what we mean when we talk about white privilege. Nobody's asking you to apologize because you personally are white. We're asking you to acknowledge that Black people are still running our society's competition for success, burdened by inequality and injustice. I shouldn't apologize because racism existed until 1868 shows us how blind you are to the daily probably the most glaring example of white privilege you could ever give us.
I'm going to say this shit, and I don't give a fuck who cries in the comments. It's about to get real. I'm done apologizing for being white. I didn't own slaves. I didn't write Jim Crow. I didn't redline shit. I was born in the 1980s to a middle-class family that had to work for...
Where are the videos of you going up to Black folks and apologizing to them for being white? Where are the videos of you going up to other minority groups and apologizing to them for being white? Where are the videos where Black people are asking you to apologize for being white? Black folks, when they are speaking, are not asking you to apologize for the color of your skin. They're asking you to acknowledge the fact that you benefit in this society that was built off their backs. They're asking you to become more educated on systemic racism, which still plays a heavy part in our society today. All of this stuff you can look into. There are white people that bring the information to you for y'all to look at, but some of y'all YT people just don't care. And guess what? That's also white privilege. You don't care about other minority groups that are here suffering in America because you have a leg up over them. You do. He probably don't even know what systematic racism is. He probably doesn't even know what post-traumatic slave syndrome is. And guess what? He has the privilege not to become educated. You know why? Because he's a white man in America. Black folks aren't asking you to apologize. However, if you are a YT person and you are against reparations for Black people, you are literally part of the problem. Because after all the neighborhoods that was flooded out, all the businesses that were burned down, where was the compensation for the damage that's been done to the Black community? And then a whole bunch of YT people told Black folks to build themselves up by the bootstraps, and Black folks were doing that, and guess what? They got their stuff destroyed. Black folks have always worked. But in this country, they have always been knocked backwards. But guess what, bro? You have the privilege to not care. But to get on here and say that you done apologizing, when did you ever start apologizing? I would love to see you, just going outside and apologizing for being a white man in America. I would love to see it. I don't think those videos exist.
I don't know who is asking them to apologize for being white. Like, who need your apology? Like, who need your apology? Like, who is asking you to apologize of being white? The last time I checked, I did not see any black person coming out here to say, oh, white people, come out, apologize for being white. The same way we can never apologize to you people that we are blacks. Mhm. Yes. The same way we can unapologetically sample our blackness and our melanin popping skin. Some of these white people, when they want to trend, they just create something, create a chaos, and then start talking. I'm done apologizing to black people or anybody for being white. Do you know what your system has created? Do you know what your system has done? Welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks. Also join my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, let's dive right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries. Let's watch.
Oh, Grace Ann, babe, no one's asking you to apologize for being white. You can't help that. We're just asking that you acknowledge the fact that one race, the white one, has had way less obstacles than all the rest. And sweetheart, if you were taking that personally, I really encourage you to go and touch some grass and ask yourself why. Like, why am I so bothered by white privilege?
You know what? I don't want to speak on this because this is a very prevalent thought process, especially among white people, to think that we just have nothing to apologize for. A big part of it is that we are looking at apologizing through this very transactional lens that we learn from religion, that we say, I'm sorry, and then someone says, I forgive you, and then everything's okay. That's not the end all of being sorry, though. Like, I'm genuinely sorry that their community has been put through so much, and that my community has been the one doing it to them, and that my community has been the one benefiting from suppressing their community. Yes, I'm sorry that's happening. I can see how I'm not being held back by my race, and I wish things were different. And I'm gonna work to make things different, and until they're different, I'm just sorry they're the way they are. Like, where's your empathy? You're not willing to engage with the possibility that you have any fault, or that you have a reason to feel grief on behalf of someone else? Where's your empathy?
See, this is why nobody takes you people seriously. Not even other white people that have a drop of common sense. You are genetic mutations. You shouldn't even exist. You only exist because we exist. Are white people genetic mutations? You are the weakest link of all the races. You can't even enjoy a good sunny day. Your fight is not with us, friend. Your fight is with the solar system. This centuries-old fight to be superior is why you are now the minority. It's why you are only 7% of the world's population. 7% of the world's population. 100% the root of all its problems. 0% accountability. That, my friend, is white exhaustion.
I honestly don't think white Christians have any idea what a huge slap in the face our embrace of Trump and his administration has been to the black community. J.D. Vance said last month that white folks don't have to apologize for being white anymore. And the huge irony of his statement is that white people don't apologize. That's exactly our problem. We refuse to come to the table openly and honestly about the racialized history of our nation. No one is asking white people to apologize for being white. What they're asking is that we stop lying and deflecting and simply own up to the damage that racism and white supremacy have done from the very beginning of this nation until now. You know, we made this documentary. I realize that I talk about it a lot, but the whole point is to bring all of this stuff out into the open, because we can't heal as a nation unless we have the conversation. And we can't have the conversation until we stop lying to ourselves and face the truth and not apologize, but repent and truly resolve to make the wrong things right.
I'm going to say this and I don't give a who cries in the comments. It's about to get real. I'm done apologizing for being white. I didn't own slaves. I didn't write Jim Crow. I didn't redline. I was born in the 1980s to a middle-class family that had to work for everything. I worked 50 plus hours a week, pay my taxes, and I'm still told I'm the villain. Every day it's check your white privilege, do a land acknowledgement, post the black square, feel guilty for something I had zero to do with. No way. My great-grandparents came off a boat from Germany with nothing. I've got black people in my family tree, and nobody in my bloodline ever owned a slave. You want a apology? Dig up the dead. You want money? Call Congress, or better yet, work for it like everybody else has to. I'm not your emotional punching bag, and I'm sure as hell not your ATM because my skin is lighter than yours. And let's be real, people who never pick cotton want a check from people who never owned a plantation. That's not justice, that's a shakedown. And these sniveling liberal white apologists crying online for sins they didn't commit, you're not brave, you're a fucking embarrassment. You apologize when you up, not for history you weren't alive for. I'm sick of being told it's a crime to be a straight white man in this country. I go out of my way to treat people with respect until they give me a reason not to. I'm done bending the knee. I'm done whispering. I'm done disappearing into the background so you feel comfortable. I'm picking my side. I'm not guilty. I'm not sorry. I never was. You can stay mad. If you're done apologizing too, drop a comment below.
Oh man, this one is going to throw people for a loop because they want him to apologize for something that he was not a part of and the fact that he's speaking his mind, which I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's a lot of people that feel that way. It's people that come up to me every single day, black, white, Asian, all in between. That's like, yo, why can't people just be people and accept them for who they are and what it is that their experience is with them instead of judging them based off of the color of their skin. I've never seen anything in my life, a skin issue, in my lifetime, born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, to where it's been polarizing my entire life. And the fact that people keep on having these conversations over and over again as far as whether or not you have white privilege. I don't even know who coined that term. They need to be rich as hell. They should have trademarked it, the whole term white privilege, because man, the work that they've done on liberal white apologists to make them feel comfortable about the fact that, oh my God. And it's like, I have never seen more white women than I have now. And it's becoming more prolific. It's becoming even more pronounced. You see it more and more every single day. I've never seen more white people apologizing to people for doing things that they never did to make them feel better about how they feel about life. And really, it all comes down to go get a job, take care of your business, do what you're supposed to do, stop complaining, and make the best out of your situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen, and I've told y'all this before, I've seen white people come up to me during these little stupid protests, these No Kings protests and stuff like that, because I live downtown. And I've heard white people try to check me for driving a Tesla. And I'm like, you can't tell me not to. And see, my windows was up and it was tinted. And so at first it was like, all right. And then when I roll my windows down and it was like, or I get out the car and it's like, then they want to have a conversation about why it is. And I'm like, yo, listen, I'm from the inner city and I do what I want to do. And I'm blessed to be born in America.
Why do we consider all white people colonizers? We aren't all English, okay. So the crackganda have gotten you good. In this video, I'm gonna mention a chain of cracktivities that doesn't involve the English. Let's not even start with people of color. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna mention black people until the end of the video. Because for some reason, whenever I talk about black people, the cracker chip inside your head malfunction, and you can't think. So let's talk about white on white crime. White people have been trying to colonize each other. Not one, not twice, not 3 times, but 10 different times. You see how I took the action of a madman and then framed it to be the action of a whole country, and then framed it to be the action of a whole continent, and then framed it to be the action of a whole race? Doesn't feel good, does it? Let's bring our attention to South America now. These are the official language that they speak in South America: Spanish, Portuguese, French, Dutch. Now, why do you think that is? You ever opened up a menu in a restaurant in Chile? Why do you think the menu is in Spanish and not some native language? Why do you think there are so many whites in Argentina. Even better question, what kind of God do you think they worship down there in South America? And why do they worship that God? Why do they have a big ass white Jesus statue in Brazil? None of this is exclusive to one single continent because the white touch is everywhere. If you ever get a chance to go to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, go to District 1. And I want you guys to go to this church. If you stand around long enough, you can practically feel the dead souls of Vietnamese slaves that built this church grabbing your ass. Because this is how many people that have died under French occupation. And this is just a soft estimate. Do you know who outperforms even the British and the French during the transatlantic slave trade? The Portuguese. And now everybody pretends like it didn't happen because they got a motherfucker that can kick a ball really good. Oh, but Bradley, what about Denmark? What about the Netherlands? Sweden? Those are neutral countries. Your predictability disgusts me. You mean the countries that also participated in the transatlantic slave trade? Slavery ended 200 years ago. It doesn't count anymore. Your predictability disgusts me. First of all, this sentence, crackganda, not even true at all. Second of all, just because one certain type of cracktivity ended doesn't mean all cracktivities ended. Look at the list of countries that colonized Africa after abolition. So not counting the British, France, Germany, Belgium, Italy, Spain, Portugal. Amplified destruction. They literally invented the malaria vaccine so they can colonize deeper into Central Africa. Also, this is without mentioning the modern colonization of food, hair, fashion, music, language. With all that being said, defeat the crackganda, remember the cracktivity. Liberation be your thoughts, peace be your heart.
White people, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our violence, white violence. No more deflecting, no more blaming everything on everybody else. Let's confront ourselves. White people in America, our history is so extremely violent. And instead of confronting that, we continue to blame other people for the issues and the problems in this country, instead of just taking ownership of our part to play in everything, which is a huge part. Can we stop scapegoating other groups of people, please, and just look at ourselves? White people, it's time to talk about it. Like, it's long past time. Getting rid of other groups of people in this country is not going to make this country better. It's not going to make your life better. It's not going to make you better. I think white people are so scared to talk about race and to talk about white violence and white supremacy because they don't want to connect themselves to it. We don't want to feel like we're a part of the problem. But unless you're acknowledging the reality of how the US, this country, runs, you are a part of the problem. I truly believe in my heart, in my soul, that if you're born a white person in this country or on this planet, but I'll just speak about this country, part of that journey is to dismantle systems that have been built to oppress other people. The hard work of life is to confront yourself. How do I benefit from the way that things are? And how does my benefiting from those things harm other people? And instead of walking around with, 1,000-pound bag of shame on your back, consider it your responsibility to do that work. Consider it an opportunity that you are in the best possible position to make this world a better place by not accepting racist and prejudiced and oppressive systems for what they are and trying to contribute to changing them. Use the privilege that you have for good. I don't think that anybody can ever really love themselves without being honest about themselves, without being honest with themselves. And that work is painful and hard, but it's so worth it. White people, you don't have to consciously think that you're better than other people in order to contribute to harm against them. All it takes to contribute to harm is to stay silent and disengaged. White people, can we finally get this shit right? Can we finally take accountability? Can we finally look ourselves in the mirror and decide that this isn't good enough? We're not doing a good enough job. You aren't losing because somebody else is safe and cared for. You aren't losing because somebody different than you exists. White people, Let's talk about it. Let's start having these conversations with ourselves and with each other. It's time.
White supremacy is white inferiority, and it always has been. I've said this before, but you don't enslave a race of people and have them build a country because you view them as less than or weaker than or inferior. I would argue that it's quite literally the opposite. And then I think of the slave trade and how slaves had their bodies literally inspected and basically marveled at in order for the slaves to build this country. And it also reminds me of the movie Get Out, where all those people are at the house and they're basically picking out which black person they want to take over and like inspecting the body and talking about the physical attributes of black people and all of these things. It's like, I quite literally don't believe this whole thing about they made slaves build this country because they viewed them as less than and not as powerful and all of these things. I feel like it's quite literally the opposite. And I feel like the reason why today that narrative is still talked about and spread by racist people today is because quite literally it's them being in fear of black people. It's them actually being in fear that if black people are fully treated the same as everyone else, and everyone is actually treated equally, and everyone has the same rights and everything's literally equal all across every single field, then I feel like their fear is that black people would then treat white people like how white people's ancestors, which would be slave owners, treated black people's ancestors, which would be the slaves. And so I feel like that's why there's this continuation of the racism and this idea of white supremacy, because it's actually white inferiority. And that's literally how it started. But now they're at the point where literally if they acknowledge everything that's ever gone on because of white supremacy or white inferiority, then I feel like they have this fear that black people will retaliate and literally treat white people how white people treated slaves. Literally the ancestors of black people. And again, going back to my main point, you don't enslave a race of people and have them literally build an entire country because you view them as weak or inferior. Like, that never made sense. But it's just crazy because quite literally this whole idea of white supremacy is literally the same thing as white inferiority. When you really look at it and break everything down, it's the same thing.
Dear white people, no one is asking you to apologize for your ancestors. We're asking you to dismantle the systems of oppression they built that you maintain and benefit from. Now the question becomes, do you understand how you maintain and benefit from these systems of oppression? You know, this reminds me of a meme I used to love. It said that particular people do not want to be blamed for their ancestors' actions, but they sure as hell don't want to let go what their ancestors left for them. If you inherit a business and you believe the profits is the only thing you taking on and you ain't taking on none of the debt, it's kind of crazy. Do you understand how trust and distribution of wealth and how we pass things from generation to generation? I don't understand why this concept is so hard to grasp. In closing though, nobody blaming you for nothing. We just think it's your responsibility to help us deconstruct the systems that you maintain and benefit from. Amen. Education is elevation.
You guys, I'm done. I'm done with the obsession with racism in this country. I'm done with everyone walking on eggshells, terrified that the wrong word, the wrong interpretation is going to get them labeled racist. At America Fest, JD Vance just said, "You don't have to apologize for being white in this country anymore." People lost their minds, but that statement should not be controversial. It should be obvious. Guys, we have to admit that at this point, for the most part, racism isn't actually being experienced anymore. It is being hunted. It's become a cultural game of where's Waldo for microaggressions and ill intent. And I have breaking news for you. If you spend your life looking for racism, you will find it everywhere, in neutral situations, in awkward moments, in misunderstandings that had no malice at all. Assuming the worst, you will always confirm your bias. We need to call out how deeply toxic it is to teach people, especially children, that racism is woven into everything. That's not awareness, that's conditioning. When you tell someone from birth that every system is hostile, every interaction is suspect, every discomfort is trauma, you're not protecting them. You are programming them to live in fear, resentment, and permanent victimhood. That is how trauma actually gets passed down, not because it keeps happening, but because we keep teaching people to experience it even when it isn't there. That's fabricated trauma disguised as healing. It creates people who are hyper vigilant, perpetually offended, and emotionally dependent on victimhood. And then we act shocked when they can't move forward. Ironically, this obsession with race is the exact reason that racism still exists. We keep resurrecting it, we keep feeding it, we keep teaching people to divide themselves before they even understand each other. Here's something that blows my mind. The fact that JD Vance is now echoing the same principle that Martin Luther King Jr. laid out decades ago should stop everyone in their tracks. Judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. That was always the dream, yet somehow we've circled all the way back to judging people by their skin color and calling it progress. I don't want special handling. I don't want performative outrage. I don't want to be treated like a fragile symbol. I want to be treated like an individual, judged by my character, not by my skin. I want a country where race isn't the first thing we reach for, because the more we fixate on it, the more power we give it. And if you teach people the world hates them, don't be shocked when they move through life like it does.
When white people say they don't want to become minorities in their own country, it's because they recognize minorities are treated worse, and they're afraid that if they were to become the minority, that they would be treated the same way. It's like how men are always afraid of doing something that's labeled as feminine. It's because they recognize deep down women are treated worse, and they would never want to be treated that same way. But you have to understand, feminism is not an anti-men movement. Being pro-immigrant does not mean you are anti-non-immigrant. Being pro-black does not mean you're anti-white. If I wore a breast cancer awareness pin, that doesn't mean I'm anti-lung cancer. All oppressed groups fighting for equality doesn't mean they want to harm other groups in the process of that fight. Matter of fact, you should support all oppressed groups, because at the end of the day, it's all a distraction. It's only the working class versus the ruling class. You have to make sure nothing distracts you from that reality.
The honest truth about why probably most Gen Z white people are racist is because black people treated us like shit for no reason. Y'all's millennial parents raised you to be racist to white people. And so you go out into the world treating white people like crap, and you're shocked to your freaking core when white people don't like you.
We're not shocked. We're not clutching our pearls when a white person is racist. Do you know why? Because while you pretend that black people were racist towards you, your great-great-grandmother, your great-grandmother, your grandfather, and your mother have always been racist to us. And the same thing goes for your husband, that you literally met on racist forums in 4chan. You don't have to pretend as if there's a rational reason that you are racist. You've always been here. You've always been racist. Just be proud of it. Stop making excuses. I mean, unless you'd like to go over the long history of black people being racist towards white people in this country.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and I hope you guys literally enjoyed every single clip I was able to roll out for you guys. And what I just see here is guilty conscience, okay? Because I've never seen any video of a black person saying white people apologize for being white. So you coming out to be like you're done apologizing to people for being white, you were born to a middle class, blah blah blah, you want to start sharing your own history, and the rest of that should not be our business. It shouldn't be. And just like the second clip I rolled out said, he said, where is the video of you apologizing? Where is the video? Bring out the video. Let's see. Root out the video. Let's see that, oh, there was a time you literally apologized to black people for being white. So stop creating issues out of nothing. You people think you own America and you rule every single thing. And I love the fact that some of those white folks are also still telling him that why is it that they feel as white people that they should not hold them accountable? For crying out loud, you people destroyed a lot of things. A lot of atrocities were committed. For crying out loud, you people reclassified a lot of things. So if you're not even apologizing, you should be crawling on your knee, begging black people. So the fact that black people are not even saying anything about it, the fact that we're trying our possible best to enjoy our life, you don't come stress us out. You go to comment section, they keep typing in their comment section, oh, I'm done apologizing for being white. I can't apologize for being white. I am also poor. I have also seen the 4 words of poverty. I have also seen this. I have also seen that. Enjoy your poverty and move on. Black people will never tell you to apologize. You are the same person that is always on black people's business. You people are the same people that don't want black people to rest. You people are the same people that want racism to be your food morning, day, night, anytime. And you have the audacity, the caucasity to come up here and scream it out loud. I'm done apologizing to people for being white. Nobody them asks you to apologize. We do not even need your apology because your apology is not going to fix what you people have destroyed. Your apology is not going to take us to where we are supposed to be. The only thing we need right now as black people is to work hard. It's not to be, who apology help? Who apology? Like Azalna. Who apology help? Nobody. Apology has never put money in anybody's pockets. So to as many whites that think that they don't have anything to apologize to black people, kudos. Keep it up. I'm happy for you. Keep your apology. Keep it. Black people are already surviving. Black people are already thriving. Black people are still inventing. Black people are becoming millionaires and trillionaires. So we don't even need your apology. Probably the only time we'll have been craving for that apology is maybe we are not succeeding, we are just in one position, or we are not gaining anything in life. But black people are making name for themselves. Do you think they need your damn apology? We don't need it. So stop deceiving yourself. Stop making it look like we are your problem. You know you are your problem. You know, bro. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you. Liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks. Also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, like I always say in my videos, I'm going to see and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.